All right, Bula Vinaka, everybody. Welcome to Fiji. We are in the Yasawas. This is our home base here, for now at least. We get good trade winds, and where the house is, we get beautiful flat water and clean rolling swells. But this is our true passion. Both my partner and I love riding the bumps. So that's our goal. Alison's sort of at the intermediate stage now with her winging, and I've been winging now for about 3 years, and my passion is downwinding and linking bumps. So to do that, we've got to traverse to the other side of the island, and that entails a 10 to 15 minute walk. It's a bit easier now as we've cut a bit more of a track. We've made some friends along the way, so we've got plenty of stops. And it's amazing how small you can make your quiver when you have to carry it on your back to the beach. So when I'm in New Zealand, I've got a van full of different equipment. But in Fiji, I've got one board, one foil that I take, and I've got to make sure that it's usable for the whole day. So anyway, this is the exciting part for all of us. So getting eyes on the ocean. How much wind is there? Is there bumps? Which direction is it from? There's so many variations. So this is Alison. She's really at that intermediate stage now where she can foil very easily, and she's working on upskilling. So she can do jibes now. She's getting into toe side on the waves, unpowered riding. So she's flaking out the wing, foot swaps, making huge gains, and really proud of her. And I've been winging for about 3 or 4 years now, and just my passion is riding the bumps. So before I tried stand-up paddle foiling, I put in 10,000 kilometers winging. So I am very versed in the use of the wing and navigating the ocean. So my online, I call it persona, I guess, is Downwind Drifter. I got 150 videos now on YouTube or more of me downwinding. So come check them out if you want. I've got heaps of videos for you to watch and learn. A big part of my passion is sharing the knowledge of how to read the ocean. I don't do it in a teachy way, but a very casual way, just so that you can just enjoy and watch. So that's enough of that. Here's Alison riding toe side. This is her main goal at the moment. And riding toe side across the bumps in a way that is surfing. So that's really cool. Great place to do it here. Like, there's no consequence to falling in the water. The water temperature is the same temperature as the air, so you don't even know you're getting wet. It's pretty amazing. Every day is mid-20s Celsius, so that's really cool. But yeah, Alison's from America. We've been dating a few years now, and she's been coming to Fiji with me for a couple of years. I've lived in Fiji on and off since I was a teenager, so this is like home for me. But this is the main part of this video here, is the wing downwinder. So I've got one rule with my downwinding with the wing, and that's I cannot use the wing to save me. So I'm going to ride the bumps to completion, or if I make a mistake, I've got to find some way to make it work, or else I have to suffer the consequence of coming off foil. Now that part sounds like a small part, but actually if you don't actually suffer the consequence of coming off foil, it's really hard to learn what caused that mistake, because you'll go straight into the next. If you use your wing to save you, you'll go straight into the next section and you'll start thinking about that and not what actually brought you down in the first place. So I definitely recommend you follow that same rule if you're learning to downwind in the bumps with a wing, is try not to use it. Try save yourself using other means, pumping, or some other strategy, and you'll learn new ways and how to not make these mistakes. So anyway, that rule aside, here we are, riding the bumps. This is a nice, pretty casual day. It's about 17 knots. One of the main things for using ocean energy for propulsion is keeping your foil quite high in the water column. That plays two roles. One is the physics of it, it can start lifting the water easily, the flow over the top of the foil. So your foil will be more efficient, but also that's stored energy. If you've got mast height, that's travel. If you're low to the water like that, touching down, and you slow down, it's a real dig to try to get out of that. But if you slow down with mast height, you can actually continue to glide. So mast height's really important. Another thing to understand with downwinding is that you're constantly traveling downhill. So it really is a gravitational game, and that ties in with the mast height too. Mast height gives you even more gravitational advantage. But if you watch my riding, I will constantly be moving downhill. And how that is possible is that the ocean is constantly moving and changing, offering me downhill in front of me. Now, it's my task to navigate in a way that keeps a downhill available. And part of that is just not rushing into it. So if I can see a downhill ahead, if I rush to the bottom of it, all of a sudden I'm at the bottom and now everything's uphill. So I have to ride in a way that prolongs that downhill in front of me. So sometimes that's doing a turn or trimming across the top of a wave. Whatever it is, I'm not going straight to the bottom of the trough. But I do want that trough near me because that is energy on tap available. Downwinding in itself can be quite confusing in the way that it's named basically. So your goal with downwinding is not actually to go downwind. It is purely to stay on foil. And then the consequence of staying on foil in the bumps is that you will travel downwind naturally. So don't try force the issue. Don't try actually go downwind. If you can stay on foil and stay surfing, your trajectory will take you downwind naturally. And that will help you because if you try go straight downwind, you're going to run into the bump in front of you. And that's not sustainable because that is uphill and you cannot travel uphill without losing momentum. Sometimes you might have enough speed to cut through one, maybe two uphills, but eventually it's going to get you. So there you can look straight downwind through the glare and see the corduroys in front of me. Well, I can't travel downwind and run through those. I have to ride 90 degrees to them, and that's basically just surfing the swell. That feels like you're traveling 90 degrees to downwind, but actually because the swell's moving and you're traveling also still with the wind, you're traveling now downhill at about a 45 degree to straight downwind. So from that you can see that as long as you stay surfing and you stay in the wave energy, you're going to end up downwind whether you like it or not. So there I finished my job. I've gotten to the inside. There's no more bumps really once I get past the reef. So typically at the end of a run like this, I'll just head straight back upwind and do it again. I'll do circuits, but sometimes I just can't help myself. And if I don't want to go up and do a full downwinder, I'll just keep traveling across wind, upwind, until I find a bump that I just can't pass up, basically. And that is winging to me now. That's the whole essence of my winging session is I travel upwind until I find a bump that I want to ride on back downwind again. Rinse and repeat. So there we have it. That's some downwinding tips. One other tip I can give you actually that's easy and quick to pass on, and I'll share with you now, is that to find the energy is sometimes quite difficult. and knowing what to follow, especially in your starting stage of downwinding. And if you are using visual cues, often if you're using the wrong visual cues, like if you see something you want to ride and you go head towards it, chances are it's changed or passed you by the time you get to it. So there's a couple of different navigating techniques to use when downwinding, and often it comes from looking in front of you, not behind you. So we end up chasing, I shouldn't say chasing bumps, because we're not trying to get on the bump, but we're following bumps. So now, hopefully we'll get a view of the camera behind me here, but once we can see what's in front of me, I'm going to see a swell in front of me, like a high point and a peak. And the beauty of that is that a high point, and waves being waves, is going to get followed by a low point. Now, high points are easy to see, just from the virtue of them being higher than other points in the ocean. So you can see a high point from a long way away. Well, that high point has to be followed by lower points. And that's what you're after, is these low points that you can start using to ride into. So when you're downwinding next time, have a look in front of you, try to locate a high point, and you know that thing's going to get followed by a low point, and you can tap into that thing. So there we go. We've had a great day. We've got a walk home now. So we'll get on to that, get home, hydrate, stretch, look forward to the next day. I hope you guys are looking forward to the following days and you're stoked. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.